The group chat was lighting up with excitement, cousins sending gifts of packed bags, uncles arguing over who'd bring the grill, and her sister bragging about how much she'd improved at paddleboarding. Olivia watched it all unfold from her phone, propped up on the break room table of the hospital where she'd just finished a 12-hour shift. She smiled faintly. The Lakehouse weekends had always been the highlight of her summer. But her smile faded as she scrolled. Her name wasn't anywhere. She scrolled again. And again. Finally, she typed. "Hey, did someone forget to add me to the bunk assignments?" 3 dots danced for a while. Then a single message popped up from her mother. "Oh, Liv. There's no room this year. Everyone confirmed already. Maybe next time." She sat there stunned. Her thumb hovered over the screen. "No room," she whispered aloud. "The same house she used to clean from top to bottom for family weekends? The same dock where she and her dad spent hours fishing, just the two of them?" Her hands trembled slightly. She knew what this was. Ever since her father died and her mom took over the Lakehouse, things had shifted. Olivia had found out, quietly, painfully, that her mom had filed for a title transfer, slipping it past her just months after the funeral. The house her father left her, no longer legally hers. And now they were excluding her from it. She tucked her phone into her bag, her breath shaky. Around her, the hospital buzzed with normalcy, nurses chatting, coffee brewing, patients calling out. But inside her, something cracked. She had always put others first, let things slide, kept the peace. But now, she felt something else rise in her, resolve. She stood up, looked out at the fading city skyline, and whispered to herself, "If there's no room for me, then maybe it's time I take it back." Olivia's hands gripped the steering wheel tighter as the Lakehouse finally came into view, nestled between tall pine trees and shrouded in that familiar, golden morning mist. The drive had been quiet, just her thoughts, and a playlist of old songs her dad used to hum off-key on those summer trips. It had been 5 years since he passed, but being here made it feel like only yesterday. She stepped out of the car, keys clutched in her hand. The porch creaked beneath her steps, the same way it always had. The smell of pine needles, lake water, and time-worn would hit her like a memory she'd been too tired to hold on to. Inside, it was still. Too still. She moved slowly through the rooms, brushing her fingers against the mantel where her dad's fishing trophies once sat, now replaced with generic decor, her mother's touch. The old family photos were gone. Olivia found herself breathing in sharply, as if trying to pull her childhood back through the air. She wandered into the study. Her father's favorite room. Dust clung to the corners, but the bookshelf remained untouched. Her eyes scanned the shelves until one book caught her attention, The Old Man and the Sea. His favorite. She pulled it out, and there, tucked inside the back cover, was an envelope. Shaking, Olivia opened it. Her father's handwriting. "To my daughter Olivia, I leave the Lakehouse. May this place always bring you peace, remind you of love, and give you a home when the world forgets." Her chest tightened. She felt hot tears sting her eyes. He had left it to her. And yet, somehow, her mother had taken it anyway. Signed it over. Rewritten history with a few legal lines. But now she had a choice. She wasn't here to start a war. But she wouldn't keep disappearing to keep the peace, either. She folded the letter carefully, slid it back into the book, and whispered, "Thanks, Dad. I know what to do now." She walked to the window, watching the lake shimmer beneath the sun. This was her home. And she was ready to reclaim it, with dignity. Olivia sat on the wide porch swing, the creaking wood beneath her a slow, steady metronome to the rising tension in her chest. She had spent the entire morning dusting off furniture, airing out the curtains, and setting fresh logs by the fire pit. The house felt alive again, like it had been holding its breath for years, waiting for her return. Then came the crunch of tires on gravel. A caravan of SUVs rolled up the driveway. Laughter spilled from the windows, kids pressed faces to the glass, and car doors flung open with loud, carefree energy. The whole family had arrived, just as they planned. Only this time, they weren't walking into an empty house. Olivia stood as her mother stepped out of the lead car, her expensive sunglasses masking any emotion. "Oh," her mother said, freezing on the bottom step. "What are you doing here?" "I could ask you the same," Olivia replied calmly, pulling a small folder from her bag. "But I figured I'd save us all the confusion." Her mother's lips parted, but Olivia handed over the legal documents before she could speak. "This is the original will," Olivia said, her voice firm but measured. "Dad left the Lakehouse to me. I know you had the deed transferred, but I've taken legal steps to restore my claim. The house is mine again." A stunned silence fell over the group. Her brother stepped forward. "Liv, come on. We didn't know. You're really going to kick us out?" She shook her head gently. "I'm not kicking anyone out. I'm inviting you in, as my guests. If you can respect that." Her cousins looked at one another, unsure. Her mother's expression was unreadable, but behind the sunglasses, Olivia saw something flicker: fear? Regret? "I'm not here to punish anyone," Olivia said. "But I won't be erased from my own life anymore." The porch was quiet again. Then, slowly, one of the younger cousins climbed the steps and wrapped her arms around Olivia. "I'm glad you're here." Olivia closed her eyes for a moment and smiled. So was she. Rain came in faster than anyone expected. The sky, once a calm watercolor of pink and gold, had turned a heavy gray. Thunder rumbled in the distance as the first drops tapped the roof, slow and deliberate. Within minutes, the peaceful afternoon at the Lakehouse became a quiet chaos: chairs dragged inside, games abandoned, kids squealing as they ran for cover. Inside, Olivia sat in the corner of the living room, watching everyone bustle around. Conversations were short, careful. Her siblings kept glancing her way but said little. The atmosphere was thick, not just with humidity, but with old resentment, unspoken guilt, and confusion no one wanted to address. Her mother hovered in the kitchen, meticulously arranging teacups no one had asked for. Dinner was quiet. Even the kids sensed something had shifted. Plates clinked. No one argued over board games or laughed over inside jokes. The Lakehouse, once a stage for family memories, now felt like neutral territory. But Olivia had come prepared, not just with paperwork, but with hope. When the rain slowed to a mist, she slipped outside and began stacking logs at the fire pit. She lit it with practiced hands, the way her father taught her, and sat down, staring into the crackling orange glow. One by one, they came out. Her youngest cousin sat first, followed by a niece who held a blanket around her shoulders. Her brother stayed standing at a distance. Finally, her mother appeared, arms crossed, hair damp. "I didn't think you'd ever come back," her mother said softly. "I didn't think I had a place anymore," Olivia replied, eyes still on the fire. "But this house, Dad, it meant something to me. To all of us." There was a long silence. Then her mother sat beside her. "I was wrong," she whispered. "I didn't steal it because I wanted it. I just didn't want to lose everything. Including you." Olivia swallowed the lump rising in her throat. "You don't have to lose me. You just have to stop pretending I don't matter." Her mother nodded, silent. The fire popped. For the first time all day, they were warm. Morning sunlight shimmered over the still lake, casting soft gold across the dock and filtering through the pine trees like something out of a dream. Olivia stood barefoot at the edge of the water, a cup of coffee warming her hands, steam curling into the cool morning air. Behind her, the Lakehouse hummed with a different kind of energy. Dishes clinked gently in the kitchen, someone was playing soft music, and the unmistakable sound of laughter floated from the living room. It was the first time in years that the house felt like home, not just hers, but everyone's. Her mother stepped out onto the porch, holding a manila envelope. Olivia turned to look at her, bracing herself. "I had the lawyer draft this last night," her mother said. "It's yours again. Officially. No loopholes. No conditions." She handed Olivia the envelope. "I should have never taken it. I let fear speak louder than love." Olivia took the envelope, fingers brushing her mother's. For a moment, they just stood there, two women shaped by the same man, finally facing the space he left behind with something like honesty. "You didn't just take the house," Olivia said softly. "You took the one place I felt close to him." Her mother's eyes welled up. "I know. I can't change that. But maybe, we can start again." Olivia nodded, the heaviness in her chest lifting slightly. "Maybe we can." Later that morning, the whole family gathered on the lawn, kids setting up hammocks, her brother flipping pancakes, her sister sketching the trees with a pencil like she used to as a teenager. Life returned, not in dramatic declarations, but in the quiet joy of shared space. Olivia stood by the window, looking out. This wasn't just about property. It was about presence. She hadn't reclaimed the Lakehouse for revenge, she'd done it for healing. And somewhere between the rain and the firelight, they had all begun to heal too. She stepped outside, the sun on her face. This was her father's gift. Not just the deed, but the chance to build something real again. Together.